But the next game was a Purdue game. They had a really good returner named Dorian Bryant, number 9. I always liked going against the bigger guys, the Greg Matthews of Michigan, who's 6'3", 6'4", 215 pounds, 220 pounds, versus a guy like Dorian Bryant, who was maybe 5'10", 170 or 175, because they're so much more shifty that it makes it a lot harder to get them in the open field, whereas opposed to, you know, the Greg Matthews or the bigger bodies, it's easier to wrap up, and once I get them wrapped up, I just start to roll, and then that's when I get their legs. But the Purdue game was pretty uneventful. We had the ball kind of sprayed around the field a little bit, so he couldn't catch the ball. So it ended up working out pretty well for us. We ended up punting pretty well, but he never really got any solid returns on it, any of us. And then this next game, the UCLA game, was a really huge game for all of us on the team. I mean, no one took the season we were having harder than ourselves. And to just constantly get the criticism was tough, and I mean, we just stayed together and we just kept pushing and never really gave up. And the UCLA game ended up being something that, you know, it's tough to say, but we celebrated so hard because we had really worked so hard, and it just felt like we were getting so much of the weight of the world off of our shoulders by winning that game. But a couple key plays in that game was one where we downed the ball on the 1-yard line. I'll never forget, I've asked probably at least 10 different refs, if you go in the end zone, can you stop the ball even after you've been in the end zone, as long as the ball doesn't cross the end line? And it's probably 7-3 saying that you can, but there's those 3 guys that I'd ask that would put the doubt in my head. So you'll see I get down to the 1-yard line and I just throw my hands up in the air saying, hey, I'm not touching this. We ended up getting it down at the 1, but probably one of the biggest plays, at least personally for me, maybe not the biggest game-wise, but towards the end of the game, we were winning, but we were pinned back, and Coach Boyne came up to me and he said, hey, Mike, you know, we might put Terrell in for this punt. And it was probably 2nd down at that point, or 3rd down. He said, if we have to punt. And so I was sitting there, I was like, you know what, why would they try to pull me out on this? Like, this is the situations that I live for. And we ended up getting a 1st down, but then on that next 1st down series, we came to 4th down, and he didn't come over to me, and he just said, you know, you're going. And so I went out there, I ran out there, and I was just on an adrenaline high almost, because I'll never forget, I was just sitting there being like, you know what, he put me out there, he has confidence in me, I'm going to back him up. And so I'll never forget, run down the field, and I beat my guy, and I'm coming down the field, and I end up just nailing the guy with a nice little double leg from the wrestling days. And I was so fired up, you'll see I crawl up his body, and I just start talking trash. And that was the first time pretty much in my career that I really started to talk trash. But I was just so fired up at that point. I mean, I can't even explain it to you guys. But I will try to, I haven't found that clip yet, but I believe I have a game clip, and I'm hoping that over the Goog they'll still have the film cut up of it. But if you guys see at the end of the play, you'll see me kind of crawl up and just start yelling at the guy. And, you know, I'm not the biggest trash talker out there. I never really like to do it, but I was just so fired up on that play that, you know, I had no choice. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode, and the next episode I'm going to talk about probably one of the top 3 moments in my career for hearing good old Pete Carroll say a few things to one of his players after I continue to make a few plays against them. So I hope you guys enjoy, and the next episode is going to be the BC-USC and the Navy games. Take care.
You know, getting used to each other, getting used to different terminology.
Football
by Price. Manages to get a foot on it. It's going to bounce forward. Look at the bounce. That's a little luck of the Irish right there. Might have been touched by a Michigan State player.
Well, Notre Dame player pushed Love into it. Looked like they may have touched the ball.
It's going to be ruled Michigan State's football.
Just a drop. I mean, Price was such a good punter last year. Really, maybe Notre Dame's best of all time, but has struggled this year. Dropped that one, shanked a few this year.
Well, that one 26 yards, and lucky to get that much out of it.
Yeah.
I thought it might have been touched by a Spartan player. Somebody kicked it there.
Didn't look like it was touched there, but anyway, Michigan State gets great field position At the
On the field, both teams is challenging the ruling that they were not the first to touch the ball.
Well, the Spartans with the white shoes, and
it was kicked there. Now, Terry Love may have kicked. He was pushed into that ball. Number 18, right? Kicked it with his right foot. It was blocked into that.
And the Irish will cover it right there. So Charlie Weiss using his one challenge here. Officials timeout to review this play.
You know, good use of a challenge, right? All you do is give up a timeout with 128. He had a couple to burn if he loses this. More importantly, he gets the ball if he's right.
So a big review here.
After review, replay confirms the call on the field. The Notre Dame player blocked the Michigan State player into the ball.
Get it right.
Therefore, there is no touching. The ball belongs to Michigan State. First down.
So the correct ruling.
Yep. And really, you know, a clear explanation of the rule. We said Terry Love, number 18. Watch, at the right of the screen is going to get blocked into that ball by, is that John Carlson, number 89? Blocks him into the touch.
Falling forward, his right foot will graze the football right. Yep. Well, might have hit with
it did. Right there. Yeah, right there. But, you know, this is why you have replay.
Come on, Matthew! Jeff Price standing at his 1-yard line. Will punt it away to Terrence Austin. UCLA should get great field position. Would you go after a block here, Tim?
4 don'ts of the kicking game. I know that. Don't be off sides. Don't rough the kicker. Don't let the ball hit the ground, and don't clip.
The Bruins set up for a return. Austin at the 42. Makes one miss and gets tackled and a flag down.
That'll be a block in the back. So 2 bad things on that play by UCLA. They had the block in the back, and they had a missed block.
That's the clip you were talking about. Number 4 on your list of 4 don'ts.
Right.
Christian Ramirez will get called for the illegal block. I'm surprised they didn't really put pressure on Perez and try to block one. He's had 2 blocked in his.
During the return, legal block in the back against the return team. Number 24, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the infraction. First down, UCLA.
Christian Ramirez, number 24. Watch the left side of your screen.
Timeout.
24. There's the block in the back. And on the other side was the missed block by Michael Norris.